All right. There was a ton of Rostermania happening yesterday through the APG stream or anything like that. I'll have some links down below to any information that we have. But basically, FaZe is all over the place with their roster drops and changes and things like that, along with SSG, which is then just going to spark all this other stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But basically, Lucid on SSG apparently is not vibing with them, and he was already ready to jump ship over to FaZe to reconnect with Trippie and Penguin, which then means that Falcated and Suppressed, one of them are going to get dropped, but then FaZe wants to get other people, this and that. Like, there's just so much going on, and I'm going to show you guys who I think is going to be on what team at the end of the day. So for some obvious things, there's going to be some teams that don't change. Optic, with them winning the whole event, they're not going to change. They've won the last two events. They're doing well. They're not interested in changing at all. The other thing is that we have Shopify Rebellion, who I don't think that they're going to make any team changes yet. I don't think that that's in their interest, because I believe that, you've got Frosty, you've got Froyo 2, very experienced players, and I think that they're really trying to invest in these younger players and try to get them to where they need to be to win some tournaments. And I think that they're patient with that. But I also think that maybe after this next event, if they don't do well again, then they may look into some considerations. But for right now, I think this team is solid. They just need to work out a couple kinks and then get some experience under their belt. TSM, I don't believe is going to go anywhere. As a lot of you guys know, Talik and Druk have been teaming together for forever now. And then Soul Snipe has been with them somewhat recently. And then from there, Manny recently just reconnected with them. But these four have been teaming together for a long time before all these roster changes happened for them. So these four have probably some of the most experience together in Halo Infinite. Some of the most chemistry at the moment. They're just kind of rebuilding that. But they placed well at DreamHack, right? They placed in third place right here. So I don't think that they're interested in really separating. I think that was their second time getting top 3 after Kansas City, and they're just kind of vibing with it. So I think that they're perfectly fine where they're at. They're not going to make any changes. Now, SSG here, you've had Eco and Stellar on the roster for quite some time now. But, at the beginning of the season, they picked up Snakebite and Lucid. So with this roster, it was kind of unknown how they're going to do, because you got Eco as a captain, Snakebite as a captain, Lucid as a captain, and it just didn't seem like it was going to mesh well, and it seems to not be meshing well, apparently. Particularly Stellar and Lucid aren't meshing well. I don't know. It's all just drama at this point. But what I do know is that Eco and Stellar are also looking to change. They want to get some faster placed players opposed to Lucid and Snakebite. So they're interested in changing as well. FaZe here, they got second place, but they're interested in changing, which is really interesting. So Trippie and Penguin used to be on Optic with Lucid, so they're potentially going to go back to that. And then you got Falcated and Suppressed, who are kind of just lost in the dark here. And so right now where we're at is, who knows where Falcated and Suppressed are going to go? Who knows where Snakebite's going to go? And then the other team that is getting poached right now is actually Envy, which I feel for this Envy roster. They got top 6 at this event, which is really good compared to their last event being, or some of these people were top 12 at the last event. So, for them to get top 6, that's a huge improvement. That's the best that I think actually the majority of these people have gotten. Maybe not Precision, but for Piggy and Yaxon, I know that was their best event. And even Descendant / Kamea, I think that this is either ties his top event or is his top event. So, it was a good event for them, especially as a first roster, or, first time playing as a roster going into this. But Precision did play really well, which means he's kind of getting poached. And then from there, Descendant also played really well. So I think that that's going to cause some changes. And I do feel for Yaxon and Piggy here, especially Yaxon is actually somebody I used to compete with back when he was starting in season 1. And so to see him grind it out and get to where he's at now, like, good for you, dude. Keep killing it. But I do feel for Piggy and Yaxon. Piggy's been on the cusp for a while now. Of like getting into a top team and everything. So it sucks that their team may fall apart going into this. So what the rumors are for SSG here is that Eco and Stellar are still going to be here. And then rumors are saying that Suppressed and Falcated are going to come over from FaZe. So Lucid and Snakebite will no longer be on SSG. But with the speed that Falcated and Suppressed can play, this will complement Eco and Stellar's playstyles, as that's what they were having success with like when they had Bound and Legend. So they are wanting some like higher slayers, some faster placed people. Falcated and Suppressed are kind of the underrated slayers in the league, so it'll be fun to see this change happen. With this roster, I don't think it'll change their placements too much, but I would love to be proved wrong here. You know, I do like Stellar and Eco. I think they're really cool, like really good players. I really enjoy watching them play. Suppressed has been grinding at it for a while. He's a triplet, and his brothers did compete at DreamHack, but you know they've been on and off. Avenue, now Envied, and then Diagram. So they've been kind of on and off, but Suppressed has just been going after it. So good for him. And Falcated has been in the scene for quite some time now. And I think that he's one of those like glue players. He just holds a team together and he does well wherever he's at. He just hasn't been put on the right roster yet. So I'd love to see this team do well. There's no way of really saying anything until we start seeing some events happen. So the new FaZe roster was still going to keep Trippie and Penguin on there. But then from there, they are trying to get Lucid, like I've been saying this entire time. But then the other player that they're looking after is actually from the Envy roster of Precision. Precision had a really standout performance at DreamHack. And so that is somebody that they're interested in picking up from all the rumors. So this is supposedly the new FaZe roster. So what's going to happen to Envy then, right? Like I said, Yaxon and Piggy are going to be still on Envy in my opinion, but who are they going to pick up? This will spark a next conversation for us, but what I really do think is going to happen is that they're going to kind of get the leftovers here, which I'm not saying that in necessarily a bad way, but I'm also not saying it necessarily in a good way. But I think that they're going to get the leftovers of Sabinator or Sab and Skeptify, which I know what you're saying. Where are they coming from? We're going to get into that. But I think that this is going to be the next roster that we're going to talk about. Like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing that they're getting like, I'm not saying anything bad about Sab or Skeptify here, but it's also like they're just kind of getting what they can get next, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because I believe that Cloud9 is going to make some changes. So on the C9 roster, you currently have Lethal, Boo Boo Doo Boo, and then Sab and Skeptify. I don't know actually how to pronounce that one, but anyways, those four are currently on the roster. But I do think that we're gonna have Snakebite rejoin with Lethal, one of their longtime teammates, or they ran together in Halo 5 for a very long time, a lot of championships under their belt. I do think that they could reconnect and do well, and then having Boo Boo Doo Boo as just like another great player, another veteran in the scene, been around since Halo 5 as well. And then another player that's just was performing really well on Envy that I think is going to change is going to be Carmea. I think Carmea was playing really well. And I think that he just needs to get on one of those better rosters with more veteran players. And I think Carmea could fit in with this C9 roster as one of the slayers, right? And having all this veteran experience could just take him really far. So once again, looking at the bracket here, Optic, TSM, Rebellion, those teams I don't think are going to make any changes. Those are the three teams in the top four that are not going to make any changes. FaZe will turn into Trippie, Penguin, Lucid, and Precision. So that's going to be the FaZe clan roster, supposedly. You've got Team Nemesis here, who I think is actually going to benefit a lot from these team changes as FaZe and Space Station are trying to figure out their rosters. I think that Nemesis will be able to keep practicing, keep doing their thing, and actually progress well. I feel bad for Envy once again getting torn apart and kind of getting that quote-unquote leftover squad. I feel bad for saying that, but that's just kind of the reality here. Gen G being Breaking Shot Common, King Nick, and Ryan Noob. I don't think that they're going to make any changes because I think that they've already made so many changes that they're just like, nope, we're going to stop and we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and just try to progress from there. Cloud9 being Snakebite, Lethal, Carmea, and Boo Boo Doo Boo. They actually probably will see a jump, I would say, from top 12. I think they're going to go up from there. It's tough to say with all the talent that is in the top 8 already. But adding Snakebite and Lethal, Boo Boo Doo Boo, Carmea, I think that's a really solid roster. I think that they could easily get into that top 8, top 6 territory. Complexity being Avicii, Cherish, Mental, and Spartan. I actually don't foresee them doing anything too different. They may try to pick somebody up from like the top 16 teams, like from the Unreal Nightmare or even some of the other open bracket teams. But Complexity's just been a little bit all over the place. Zero Tenacity over at Europe. Don't think they're going to make any changes because they're pretty limited on what changes they can make. Omit being Ezo, Huss, Collect, and Mortally. Once again, I don't know if any of the top teams will try to pick any of them up. I think that they're kind of chilling right where they're at. Mind Freak over in Australia. They're killing it. But once again, they're very limited on what they can do. BH3 Esports over at EU. Maybe some of the younger talent here might get pulled into Zero Tenacity to try to push them up a little bit more. But once again, I don't know who would be dropped or who would be picked up or anything like that. And then Alpha / Luminon, one of the top Latin American teams. They're once again limited on what they can do. The Tapping Buttons team did not make it out of the open bracket, which was a little surprising. But still seeing some Latin America in the in the pool plays here. But I don't think that Tapping Buttons team losing is going to necessarily affect their team changes. I think it was kind of a fluke that happened. And so Tapping Buttons and them are probably just going to keep grinding it out and just make sure that they don't make mistakes like that again going into the next tournament. There's a ton of changes in the HCS last night. Once again, I'll have all the links I have down below for you guys because holy cow, there was a lot going on. That's who I think will be the projected teams going into this next event. Year 4 of Halo Infinite has been the most competitive and best year we've had so far, and it's extremely fun to watch. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am, and I'm excited for this next tournament in Salt Lake City. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys think I'm wrong, if you think I'm right, whatever it may be, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. My name is Buck, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.